going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day, an awesome week. Bitcoin literally going on an absolute tear. We got up to $12,900, just under $13,000. We have had a slight pullback. The big question everyone is asking, is this the real move? Is this the blast-off move we've all been waiting for? Is this a fake out? Is this rally sustainable? Well, the one thing I talked about in yesterday's video is that, as you can see right here, Bitcoin up over 12% in the past 7 days. Lots of the mid to lower cap altcoins are not able to keep up with these Bitcoin moves. And I showed you how historically, when Bitcoin does tend to start rallying, it kind of leads the way. We have seen some of the market dominance actually increase. We're up to 63% now for Bitcoin. So big question of the day, can this rally last? Well, one thing I want to talk about interesting is the fact that not only has Bitcoin separated itself from the altcoins, or even just Ethereum being this blue line below, but also the S&P as well as gold. And you can see the orange line shows that Bitcoin is truly just decoupling from everything else in the markets right now. So is Bitcoin finally taking charge as the asymmetrical asset we all know and love Bitcoin to be? Well, we're going to talk about that today. Also, we do have some big news from PayPal. PayPal is now going to allow the purchase and sale of cryptocurrencies as well as crypto payments to its endless amounts of merchants that accept PayPal right now, which is pretty incredible. Should we be getting excited over this news? Well, I think so, but there might be a catch. We'll get into that. And I also want to talk about another company, another public company that has purchased Bitcoin as part of its reserves. This is just the beginning. Can you feel the FOMO? Drop a comment, drop a like, get subscribed if you haven't. We do this for the most part every single day. And without further ado, let's dive in. Now, having a look right here, you can see Bitcoin is actually still trying to sort of push up right now. How high can Bitcoin go? Well, incredibly, we actually broke the wick right here that we got up to, and that was around the $12,486 level, and that was the previous peak of the time that we tried to break out before right here. Now, currently, we are sitting above that level. Now, keep in mind that this is, we still have a long time to go, especially in the weekly chart, which I'll bring up in a second. So if Bitcoin was to have a potential pullback right here, I would suggest that this would hold right here. Now, this was the previous sort of resistance that we had that we couldn't get above when we tried to break out in August earlier this year. We did get above it. So it is a possibility that if we do have a pullback, you might see Bitcoin come down to these levels, which means you could see it get back to around the $11,800 level. But interestingly enough, not only are we seeing it have a massive breakout on spot, but look at the CME absolutely skyrocketing right here out of the triangle, getting above the previous resistance. So this is incredible on pretty much all charts. Now, having a look, I want to show you this sort of these are just major trend lines, historical trend lines that Bitcoin has been following, right? And you could see sort of on its low end, it sort of dips on this red line. And the only time we really drop below it is during the major capitulations or during black swan events. Last time we did was August 17th of 2015. And then, of course, during the black swan event with the virus that we had earlier this year. Now, you could see if we just simply follow this trend and see where Bitcoin bounces around, if we were to continue up to the next level right here, you're actually looking at Bitcoin hitting its next major horizontal resistance at around diagonal resistance at around $14,300. So that could potentially be the next level for Bitcoin. Now, people saying that this is not a bull market where we shouldn't be bullish, what are they talking about? Have a look right here at a simplified monthly line graph chart. Now, this is not candles. This just simply shows you all the connecting points month for month. And you can see we obviously hit here, we pull back, we hit this resistance 3 times, we got above it, it acted as support, and we pumped up. How can you say that this is not bullish when right back here in June, when we had the peak, here is the resistance that we tried to get above, we couldn't, and we currently put that resistance in as support. And also, just to point out, having a look right here at the VPVR, we are sitting at the most critical level right here, and there is so much room for price discovery above these levels, right? And that's why I said yesterday, I wouldn't really be shorting the market. Could you get the top of the next Bitcoin scalp short major crash, sure, whatever. But I have a feeling that even if we do have a 20%, 30% dip, I guarantee you that 15%, half of it minimally, is going to get bought back up instantly, if not that day. And you're going to end up seeing a wick like how you did right here, you know, where the price comes all the way down here and then instantly gets bought back up. You might be able to make the trade. You might be able to catch the move. But I would just say at this point, it would be not financial advice, probably the best bet to long the dips or buy the dips. So if you do see Bitcoin having, you know, a 10% pullback, 5% pullback, that could be a good opportunity to start building a long position. I wouldn't really be looking to short these markets. I've been saying that. Now, that's not saying it can't happen short term. I just think that long term, you're probably going to get wrecked, okay? Especially if you're using high leverage. Now, talking about the fact that Eric Wall pointed out this unusual chart that he mentions correlation-wise, we have gold, S&P 500, Bitcoin, and Ethereum all on the daily for October 12th. And we could see that Bitcoin has clearly started to pull away from all traditional stocks. So we're seeing that correlation diminish. And this is really showing Bitcoin is starting to shine. Now, obviously, we had, like you can see right here on this chart, dozens of tests of this weekly level, and we finally broke through, and that was the $11,800 level. We finally got above it. It was a critical level. We've literally been trying to break above this level since way back in the beginning of 2018, and we just finally closed above it on this last recent move. Now, talking fundamentally, an interesting thing you may have noticed is the fact that Tether is the third crypto by market cap. In fact, Tether has surpassed XRP, and it's added another 1 billion of tokens since just last month, with its market cap surpassing 16 billion, and just 150 million of that was printed on Tuesday of this week alone. So what does this all mean? Well, this means that investors are actually buying Bitcoin with these stable coins, right? These stable coin reserves are just more opportunities for people to get involved into cryptocurrency. And if you follow the trend, Bitcoin has had an interesting sort of correlation with Tether printing, right? We see Tether get printed, we see the Tether market cap go up, and then conveniently a couple days later, a week later, we see the Bitcoin price go up. And it looks like that's exactly what has been happening as well. Now, let's talk about the breaking news of the day. PayPal, the New York State Department of Financial Services, has granted the first conditional bit license to PayPal for a partnership with Paxos Trust Company, enabling customers to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. And we know that dealing with New York can be difficult. So obviously, when you can get granted this bit license, this is a big deal as far as a company in the US, especially in New York. Now, PayPal has announced that its entry into the crypto market will be coming early in 2021. The payments will be settled through fiat currencies, similar to many existing crypto merchant solutions like BitPay. This means that merchants will be receiving fiat, as PayPal will take care of the conversions. Now, without going through the entire announcement, here is a summary that a kind Reddit user put together for us. So, too long, didn't read. Well, cryptocurrency buying, selling, and storing is coming to the US for anyone over the age of 18. It's only available for personal accounts. You will not be able to send or receive any cryptos. Roughly 0.5% spread between price. This is competitive. 2.9% plus 3-cent fee when selling. Weekly limit of 10,000. Only $10,000 weekly limit, annual limit of 50,000. Maybe this will increase, but for now, it's a very low exposure. It's obviously aimed for the average retail type investor. They will be supporting Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, and it is going live in the coming weeks. So, the company has partnered with Paxos Trust. In this partnership, Paxos provides custody and liquidity services to PayPal. PayPal itself has about 346 million active accounts around the world and processes they processed 222 billion in payments just in the second quarter of this year. So think about 346 million people who otherwise may have not wanted to get exposure to Bitcoin, or had been too scared, or didn't know how to, or were confused, but they have a PayPal account. Now they're going to have a little button inside their PayPal that says, hey, click here to buy some Bitcoin, right? Now, obviously, you can see right here, it says, do you own the cryptocurrency? No, you do not own the private keys. They will be on PayPal. So Plan B says crypto in the PayPal account cannot be transferred to other accounts on or off PayPal. So this is just a big PayPal nothing burger, just entries in a central PayPal database, nothing to do with Bitcoin. Although I kind of disagree, Plan B, to say that we should completely throw this out the window. No, it's not necessarily Satoshi's vision. We're not owning our own private keys. Do I think that everyone should do this? No. Once you get educated, own your own keys, get your own hardware wallet, right? But for the average everyday person who's just looking to gain exposure to Bitcoin, this is an incredible opportunity, even minimally, just for spreading awareness, right? So that is that situation. Moving forward, also, let's talk about a UK-based fintech firm that has just announced a large purchase of Bitcoin using its cash reserves. Now they are following in the footsteps of Saylor, the Bitcoin bull over at MicroStrategy and of course Square. So Mode Global Holdings, an already Bitcoin-friendly financial company, has become the first UK publicly traded firm to allocate part of its reserves to Bitcoin. Mode has reportedly allocated 10% of its cash reserves on its balance sheet to Bitcoin. Cash App only did 1%. These guys are doing 10%. Motivating the decision is the uncertain global macroeconomic outlook in the wake of the pandemic. And this is probably a trend that we're going to see a lot of these companies, a lot of them, hopping on in the future. The firm says that the Bitcoin allocation is an effort to protect the assets of investors from currency debasement. It mentions record low UK interest rates of about 0.1% in its justification. So there you go, yet another company hopping on the Bitcoin bandwagon, and not to mention the Bitcoin fund that was launched by 3iQ Corporation, which now trades publicly on the stock exchange in Toronto, has reached a milestone today as well with a volume of 100 million. We are seeing record-breaking volumes on Bakkt. We're seeing Fidelity come out, Grayscale buying, Cash App, MicroStrategy. We just saw Mode buying, and now we're seeing this Bitcoin fund launched hitting a volume of 100 million. In fact, the president of the company, Fred Pai, stated that launching a Bitcoin fund in Canadian dollars is good for Canadians since this will eliminate extra fees that come with converting fiat currencies into each other. He says Bitcoin funds allow investors to get exposed to Bitcoin and gain capital appreciation in the long term. 3iQ Corp believes Bitcoin to be a low correlated asset that complements legacy investment strategies. And finally, I want to end on the fact that we do have Nancy Pelosi, who did send the letter to her colleagues. I mentioned this in yesterday's video, and I wanted to end on one more excerpt from it that I didn't mention. And quote, she says, on several open questions, the secretary and I called for the committee chairs to resolve differences about funding levels and language. Hopefully we will receive this guidance soon so that the secretary and I can continue our discussions tomorrow afternoon upon his return. I remain hopeful that we can reach an agreement before the election. It will be safer, bigger, and better, and I will be retroactive. So lots of people are thinking that this stimulus could also pump Bitcoin. We saw the last time people got their $1,200 checks. A lot of it got dumped into Bitcoin, right? We saw a percentage of spikes of exact purchases of $1,200 on Coinbase correlating exactly with the release of the checks, right? So having a look at Bitcoin, are we due for a potential pullback? Every time Bitcoin tries to pull back, it gets bought up immediately, although I do anticipate at some point we need to. It is healthy. We need to have some kind of a correction. Just honestly, Bitcoin does need to sort of chill out and retest before having these massive, pumps. You don't want to go straight to the moon because, what goes up fast comes down fast, right? But that being said, guys, we have crossed a major critical level. We are heading potentially towards a $14,000 Bitcoin. And yes, we have closed out on this extreme resistance now acting as support. All of that looks bullish for me. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. I love you. You're awesome. Get subscribed. Check out the free Telegram below. Also got links in the description. So there you go. That's it for me today. That's about it. It's a good day for crypto today. So don't be alarmed if we do have a little bit of a pullback. But yeah, I do believe that Bitcoin is in fact setting up for this massive parabolic run. And I do believe that this is the beginning of what we've all been waiting for. We might have one more opportunity to buy the dip, one more shakeout, but I think that's going to be it. We're either just going to, continue moving upwards like this, with these short, small pullbacks, or we're going to have one more, major crash before the next big move. But regardless of either of the two outcomes, I think you guys know where we're headed. Straight to the moon. And that being said, thank you for coming back. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.